Kenya's anti-tax bill protests have opened a conversation beyond just the youth's participation in politics, but the power of social media for mobilizing. Dr. Job Mwaura, Wits Center for Journalism Research Fellow, joins us now for more on what we saw in the last 6 days in Kenya. Doctor, good evening, and thank you very much for joining us on The Full View. So many have said they just woke up to Kenya trending on social media. We then saw an elaborate poster detailing events and venues where citizens would hold demonstrations over the course of the week. Now, that poster in particular was accompanied by a text which stated, "Don't comment, just retweet." This was almost reminiscent of the coordination and use of social media during the Arab Springs. What are your views on just this digital activism that we saw?
Yeah, thank you for this invitation. As you said, what is currently happening is that there is a widespread protest that has been sparked by the finance bill of 2024, which proposes to increase a range of new taxes and levies. And then what has been happening now is that these protests have been led by young people who are majorly, educated, very agile and very energetic, and who have the digital tools. You know very well that digital media has been very key in many movements, including what you said, the Arab Springs. So the young people in Kenya are using or appropriating digital media tools to help them to organize and to mobilize for protest in this movement. So just like any other time, any other movement, digital tools have been very, very important in this movement.
And I suppose they reminded many that armchair warriors can then take to the streets beyond just mobilizing, which is what we saw here, that if there was outrage on social media, it then was taken from social media directly to the streets. But let's talk about the innovative use of technology, because these protesters in particular employed various digital tools, including AI-generated content. We saw specialized GBT models to educate the public. That was quite something to witness.
Yes. And that is quite innovative for the young people. We are now seeing the use of AI, in mobilizing. One of the ways that they have been using AI is to have specialized GPT, models, which where you can ask it question on the contentious finance bill of 2024, and then it answers you and it gives you the nitty-gritties of it. Another very innovative way of using AI that we have also seen is the use of AI to make and to remix songs, anti-protest songs, which of course are being able to condemn the leaders that have been agitating for this, for the passing of this finance bill that has these punitive new taxes and levies. Yes, so it is quite innovative and a very good way that is setting precedent, not just for us, but for other African countries as well.
Doctor, I found it quite intriguing, that just tool to be able to ask on what exactly is the protest about? What does the finance bill entail? Because one would assume that this limits false narratives when some people are protesting, because there can be some that decide to turn things around and say a protest is about something completely different than what it really is. What did you make of just that?
What has been happening is that last year, the government passed the 2023 finance bill without much participation from the citizens. They did not consider the voices of the people. So this year in 2024, the people are very annoyed because of that, and that is what has caused outrage. And the outrage has not just been in online platforms, but also being taken to the streets. So long ago there was that idea of saying that digital media tools cannot be able to bring change, but we have seen it being used to pressure the government in order to make a few amendments for this Finance Bill 2024. Even though right now what is happening is that the young people are saying that those amendments are not enough and the whole finance bill should be scrapped off completely.
But at the very least, what they have won is the ear of government, particularly the president, because when he stated yesterday that he's now willing to have a conversation with young people, many would say that it was a win for the youth of Kenya, but also a win for this digital era that we live under. But then beyond this, as effective as it turned out to be, what are the challenges of digital activism? Because one would just assume that it could have just taken the shutting down of the internet for that whole operation to collapse.
Yeah, thank you for those comments. Yeah, true. There's so many challenges that comes with the use of digital tools for mobilizing and for activism. And what we have been suspecting in the past few days is that the government is throttling the internet and jamming it, and also using the internet and digital tools to track down those that they think are the leaders of these protests. And right now we have seen a number of abductions that have been carried out by the government. And they're using these digital tools to track those they think are leading this protest. But it is also important to notice that these protests have been very organic. They are not really leaders. They are not real leaders in it. So so many people are involved beyond their tribal and ethnic boundaries, and congregating or coming together, being forced or being pushed by the issues that they're fighting for.
And we saw that come out when many tried to ask, who are your leaders? Who's organizing? And you'd find ordinary citizens saying, no, it's us. It's all of us. You cannot single out certain individuals here and want to negotiate with certain individuals. It's the citizens, ordinary people, particularly the youth, that would be affected by these tax bills in the future. But thank you very much for talking to us, Doctor, this evening. That was Wits Center for Journalism Research Fellow Dr. Job Mwaura speaking to us.